Hello. I'm sitting like this because if I lift my head, I get a really shiny forehead. Can you see that? I think maybe it's the light above me. Good evening. Thank you for joining me on my Facebook Live. I've got my chair tangled up now as well. Oh dear. Come on, Esther. Welcome. Lovely to have you along. We're going to do one concept, two cards. So one idea, but two ways, two kind of techniques, I guess. Have I got you intrigued yet? Stay and watch and find out what we're going to do tonight. And you can share this broadcast out. It's usually best to do it at the beginning, so then people catch the whole, idea of what's going on, rather than landing in the middle going, oh, what's she doing? How did she do that? Okay, and in order to catch my future videos, you can click follow to get all the notifications, and you can like my page while you're there if you like what you see. So lovely to have your company tonight. I hope you are keeping well. And so I bet you're going, well, what is it? What is it? Because I'm not actually putting the title, what technique I'm going to try tonight. So it is stained glass. Ooh. So got a little bit cheating, not cheating, but casing, which means copy and share everything, from a lady, a demonstrator called Robin Carden. I think that's her surname. I quickly jotted it down. Can somebody correct me if that's wrong? I think it's Robin Carden, not Cardwell, from the US of A, who did a stained glass technique on YouTube. So I'm taking one of those concepts, that's one of the ideas, and then ages ago I had an idea with stained glass, and I'm going to show you that idea as well, if we have time, which I'm sure we will. So I'm going to say a quick hello to those of you who are joining me live right now and coming in and saying hello. Hi Deborah, Darlene, Bobby, Cindy, Kay, Carol. Did I see Debs? There we go. Lovely, thank you. So let's just get started, shall we? I've got to take my finger off and then press the button to turn you around. Boop, boop, boop. Technical sound. Boop. Oh dear, silly mood tonight. Okay, here goes. Let's get started. Now, can I say, as I try and start, that I have put out there on my Facebook page and on my group page that I'm open for you to ask me questions, but don't ask now. Wait, don't type. I want you to go and post a question after when I'm done here on my page, or if you're in my group. If you've got a crafty question to ask me, then by all means ask it. And I'm hoping to do some YouTube videos answering those questions. I've had some amazing questions come through already, which have been really interesting and really kind of made me think about what I do and why I do it. So that's great. Hi, welcome to Kay. Lovely to have your company. How are you doing? Loving my hair. Thank you. And people are sharing it out, which is fantastic. Hi there, Ellie. Right, so for this first technique, I'm using window sheet, which is clear plastic, a little bit like packaging plastic. That wasn't what I was going to say. Anyway, you get the idea. It's window sheet. Now, I think if I stick maybe just a piece of card behind it, you might be able to see it a bit better. I'm just checking if I... Great, okay. Now, you don't need to cut it out in a shape, and in fact I didn't need to do it, but in my preparation, thank you, that's the word, Kay, acetate. Acetate. In my preparation I did actually cut the shape out, but like I said, you don't need to do that. I just, for some reason, thought I might have needed to. So tonight's show is sponsored by the lovely Seaside Notions, and I'm so pleased to see that this is carrying over. Great little seaside underwater themed stamp set, which I've used quite a bit because I like it. There was a question that came up about the difference between StazOn and Memento ink. They are both black inks that Stampin' Up sell. I will explain that another time, but for the purpose of this video, StazOn works on things like plastic and wood and anything that you want kind of permanent, particularly plastic it's great on. But because it is permanent on plastic, you have to be careful with your rubber stamps. Make sure you clean them straight away. You can actually get Stays On cleaner. So because I'm stamping on, this has got the most, smell this, it's got the most, I mean, I know you shouldn't go sniffing ink pads, but it's got the most gorgeous smell. It comes with this little plastic protection, which actually says, do not discard. Can you see that? So that's just to kind of protect it and keep it nice and moist. Yes, I said the word moist. So I'm going to stamp a seahorse. Now, this does kind of take a little while to dry, so I'm hoping I won't have any smudges, but we're going to just go for it. So I'm going to stamp my seahorse bang in the middle. Now, because we are stamping on plastic, it does smell like almonds, like marzipan. That's what it smells like. Thank you, Deborah. She says it Stays On works on non-porous surfaces, so I'm being very careful not to slip and slide, and that image transfers. I'm going to quickly tap this excess ink off and wipe it off with just a chamois with some water on it, because I don't have the special cleaner, which is fine. If you clean it off straight away, you're fine. So I'm going to go in with some coral stroke seaweed to add it into my picture. There we go. Again, just going to clean this straight away. Oh, I've just seen Kay's message that says she misses going to the seaside and having chips and fish and chips. Stays On is good for stamping images that you want to watercolour. Exactly, that's another thing that Stays On is good for. Memento is good for stamping images you want to colour with blends. That's right, Ellie, thank you. I do know the difference. I just thought I'd save it for telling you a lot another time. In fact, I think I'll leave it there, shall I? The colouring, not the colouring, the stamping, because we're going to do some colouring. So I'm going to move this out the way. So I'm going to turn this over, and in the hope that it doesn't smudge, but it might just take off a little bit of the excess ink. Excuse me. Okay, I'm thinking just going to grab some yellows and some oranges and some somethings and some greens. So can somebody confirm for me that it is Robin Carden, I think her name is. So I'm thinking I want this to be, okay, that's, why is that not coming up? That's a bit, I need the darker one of that. Where's that? Look, right, here goes. So I'm just going to use the brush end. Let me zoom you in, or else you're not going to be able to see a thing. And look, the colour, these are alcohol markers. They transfer onto the back of the window sheet. Okay. So remember, we're not colouring in as such the actual, what am I saying? Black and white, black outline. We're colouring the back of it, so you don't have to worry too much about staying in the lines. I'm really sorry if that squeak is like a blackboard, fingers on blackboard. That's not my intention. Oh, thank you, Kay. Kay's telling me I'm so talented. I've only just started with what I'm doing. Now, I might try and... oh, actually, let's do a bit of yellow. Oh, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to do a bit of yellow, as if there's a bit of yellow sunshine shining through. I just fancy it. I don't know why. Just gonna do it, a little yellow highlight, and then I'm going to do. Whoops. Now, dare I? Do I? Dare I? Why not? I'm just going to put. You might not be able to see this. Not yet. Just a touch of blue. Oh, thank you, Ellie. She says I'm lovely to watch. Okie dokes. So the magic happens when you put this, I'm going to carefully turn it over, on a bit of white. Okay. So before we do that, we want to frame it onto some yellow. so saffron specifically. Okay, so look, I've gone a little bit far down, so I'm going to just snip this off because it's going to go on the back and nobody's going to see it. So let's just snip that. There we go. And then I'm just going to use my snail adhesive to just put it into place. There we go. And then I'm going to, these are sticky foam strips. So I'm going to pull these off, but I'm going to tear that bit off because I need some more. These were from a kit that I did earlier, so that's why they're not attached to anything. They come in like bigger foam strips. I've cut these down. I'm just going to, you can tear them, look at that, you don't even need scissors, just tear them. There we go. So they're double-sided, and this just helps to raise the image up. So again, shout out to Robin Carden, who I saw this original design from, and I think she called it the stained glass technique. Her name is Robin. Thank you, Kay, for checking. That's really helpful. There we go. And then, so because this is like double-sided, you just want to peel off the backing, like so. Okay. Now, like I said, when it's on the white, all is revealed. And you want it kind of just popped up from your card so it shows up. That blue is starting to show through, but it might be a bit too bright for you guys to see that. It has got a bit of blue in there. And then to finish it off, I've left the gap at the bottom so you could fit a sentiment in there. Or I could even maybe wrap some twine would be nice, I think. Nice bit of seaside twine, I think. Yeah. Do a quick bow. Oh yes, that just makes it. Snip that off there. Grab a glue dot. And this, I mean, this can be done with, she did hers with those people stamps that Stampin' Up sell. So I think anything with an outline that you can colour in basically would be good for this. So if you missed that, I just rolled up with the glue dot so that I can stick it behind my twine. Then I'm going to stick it down like so. Okay, so you get the idea, and it just raises up the image so it does look like a glass effect, and it's so fun, so easy, so fun. Great one to do with kids actually. Just make sure you don't smudge your black ink. So that's one idea with this stained glass. Now I have another idea, which I made a card a long time ago and I never actually got around to showing it, so I'm going to do that with you now. It's a slightly different, well, it is a different technique. This card's got a bend in it, so do I use it? Yeah, let's use it up. So I'm going to do some heat embossing. So sorry about my scrappy paper, but it just, you know. And I'm going to rub my embossing tool all over to make it nice and smooth and not to pick up any kind of things that maybe grease on your fingers, and you can just rub it on your hands to stop any grease transferring. Kay is kindly asking after my boys. Thank you, they're well. My husband's birthday's today, so he's let me sacrifice a bit of time and come on here so I can do my stamping show, as he calls it. Neverana says, have you had a lot of birthday festivities and cake? Yes, we had cake. I made a lovely Victoria sponge. I say it was lovely because I've not had I've tried it before, but they've never really come out, you know, really well before. But this particular recipe came out quite well, I thought. Okay, so with this one, you're not going to see this straight away, but you will when we put the embossing powder on. So just follow the process with me. I'm using Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink. Again, my seahorse is going to be my main feature of the card, and then I'm going to go in with some of the coral stroke seaweed. Now you do want to go fairly close to your seahorse image. It doesn't matter if they're touching, and it doesn't matter if it's not touching. I keep wanting to shut my ink and I need it. So like I said, you probably can't see this at the moment, but just bear with me and all will be revealed if I can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to see if I've got anything there. If you can't see, just tilt your paper and then you get an idea of where things are. And so the idea is you want to fill the space around the seahorse, that's what he's called. Okay, now where is my... Spillage! The water spilt into my chamois, isn't that amazing? So actually it's not too bad. Why do I end up with spillages when I come on here? So Ruth's come on under my name, which is going to be really confusing. So if you like this black embossing powder, Stampin' Up! Are no longer going to sell it come the new catalogue that starts in June. So I'm just going to put my noisy heat tool on. You can do this technique with other colours, is the word I'm looking for. So I'm giving my chance for my heat tool to warm up a bit, which means that when I get it to the paper, it starts heating that powder up straight away. I know, multitasking, Ellie. Ellie says, I wondered how you were typing and demonstrating at the same time. Did I not tell you I'm an octopus? I'll grab my tweezers. I had another question about embossing, which again I will answer now and another time, was about how do you avoid bends in the paper. I do start heating from the back first and then do the top, or you can do it vice versa. And I find that this helps when you are heat embossing, not to get too much bends in the paper from, or warping from the heat. I hope you can hear me over the tool. So that's made everything go black and shiny. Right, step 2. This is a blender pen from Stampin' Up. Cindy says, thought Matt might have joined us. Well, he said, you know what, love, you can have a night off. I'll do your live tonight. So this is a blender pen. So what this pen does is you can pick up coloured ink with it and use it for colouring. But because this is an older pen, I use this for this technique. And I'm going to zoom it in a bit. So using my Versamark ink again, I'm taking my blender pen and I'm dipping it into the Versamark ink so that the nib of the pen takes on that Versamark ink, okay? And then I'm going to do some lines. Again, you can't see this, but just bear with me and I want to show you what happens afterwards. I have done this, actually I did show this technique using the blender pen. Yes, you can get embossing pens that do this for you, but I'm trying to use what's available that you might have in your craft stash, or what's available to you from Stampin' Up. Just do one more there. So you want to do as fine line as possible. It's not always easy, but you can try. You should do a birthday broadcast. And then we're going to shake the powder over again. And what happens is, can you see? No, it's not picked up on that line there, so I'm going to rub that one out. It's picked up the lines, and you might be thinking, what on earth is she doing? But just bear with me, trust me. So we're going to go in with the heat tool again. I think that's where my sticky tweezers were actually, that wasn't the powder. And we're going to heat up the area that we've done the lines. And you'll see in a minute why. So we're just joining the images together. Like so. Now I'm going to bring in some of my coloured blender pens. I'm saving the lighter blues and greens for the end. And then we're going to go in. Now, what I suggest is to use the brush tip of your pens, because the alcohol does react a little bit to the embossing. Excuse me, I've got the burps tonight. So work fairly quickly if you can, and work with the brush tip. With this kind of thing, don't worry too much about shading. It's more about laying down the colour, and try and stay in the lines if you can. What happens with this on some of the images where it's got the dots, for example, on the coral, it sometimes, yeah, it kind of melts it or moves it around, so that's why you don't want to linger too long, but it's fine. I mean, you know, for the purpose of this, it is fine. So colouring those images in. I like using the blends because you can get all sorts of vibrant colours laid down, and it gives the impression of what I want it to look like. I'm using some nice bold kind of seaside colours. So welcome if you are joining my channel, especially if this is your first time watching. You might have joined because you thought, what is she doing? You might be curious as to what's going on. Well, welcome. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm in the UK and I get to use and sell these products. But why? Why would you want to do this? Well, the therapy that you can get from making and creating is just, it brings a lot of joy. So not only does it bring joy to yourself, but if you then make something and pass it on to somebody else and share the love and send a card, if you just think about what it feels like to get a handmade card in the post, the fact that somebody's taken the time to make something and then to share it with you and to send it to you, that feeling, that's why it's all worth it. Am I missing comments? No, a few. I thought I might be missing comments there. Maybe shouldn't have gone in with the purple, but there you go. Oh well. Okay, so now we've laid down the bold colours, we're going to come in and fill in with our paler green colours. Might stick that one in as well. So kind of the rule is not to go next to each other with the colour. Let's just spread out those colours a bit. And we're going to fill in the gaps of where we haven't coloured. Again, you want to use the brush end. It's much quicker. You're filling in bigger spaces. So if you are interested in seeing what I'm going to do next, in fact I'm interested to see what I'm going to do next, I am heading over to YouTube, excuse me, excuse me, and I've not had a chance to properly, well, I've had an idea, I've had another idea, so I'm hoping to head over to YouTube after this and do another live broadcast on YouTube with probably the Memento stamp set. So somebody earlier, or I think it was last week when I was doing my broadcast, suggested about using the Memento stamp set to do a seasonal picture. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I've not had a chance to play, so it'll be a little bit impromptu. There we go. Okay. Exactly. Hi there, Beverly. Lindy. I'm getting your names mixed up. Cindy said, a light bulb moment. ... See the stained glass. Can you see the stained glass? Okay, so 2 different stained glass techniques for you today. One with the window sheet, like that, and this kind of stained glass. And I get to do here's one I made earlier. Ta-da! I don't normally get to do that, but today I do. Here's one I made earlier. It's not stuck down properly because in case I want to do something else to it. So, and this is another version of, so using your darker colours to really bring out your bold images and link them together using an old blender pen and the embossing with the Versamark ink. Some of you must think I'm like talking another language. But watch the video and hopefully you'll understand the process of how that works. Okay? Great. I'm glad that you like it. And let me know if you try it. If you do try it, please join my Facebook group. It is SSC Inspired and Shared. SSC for Stampin' Star Creations. Saves you typing in my long business name. So please follow me over to YouTube in just a few minutes. I need to just clear down the desk, sort out my watery mess that I spilt earlier, and hoping to work with my meadow again and see what we can come up with that stamp set. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, today's show. Please do come back next Tuesday for another instalment, another episode. And good to see you, good to have your company. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me. See you over on YouTube, same channel name, Stampin' Star Creations. Bye bye.